So this is an interesting observation. I'm listening to the Rosary in Latin while I'm painting. I'm working on I'll show you later. I'm working on a painting, The Whore of Babylon. But while this is going on, in the back of my mind, I'm traveling back to my past, to key moments with women. And one, I was on my biggest sailboat I own, the 50-footer, very alcoholic, and just having rampant sex with random women that I'd meet at bars all over Seattle and the Puget Sound. And I was actually really struggling to get out of that situation to sobriety and stability. And Seattle, the cultural atmosphere is not exactly one that pushes me towards, morality, sobriety, monogamy, etc. It's the opposite. It pushes drugs and sex on you very aggressively. And so my friend's daughter came to my boat. She was 16. Really big breasts, really slender waist, and a perfect butt and legs. She was very, very sexually attractive at 16 years old. And I remember her and her little brother came to the boat for some reason from where they were at. They lived on their parents' boat. And their parents, the mom was not a bad person at all, but the dad was very alcoholic and did drugs. And somehow she was cutting my nails because I only had one hand. And I remember I was looking down at her cleavage involuntarily, and it was turning her on. She would have had sex with me right there on the spot. I could tell she was practically drooling over me. And I wanted to do it so bad. My reptilian midbrain was like, yes, sex, boobs. But I was like, no, this girl's 16, bro. Come on, man. And, you're friends with her parents, dude. What are you thinking? And so the frontal lobes restrained the penis, the dick brain. And I think a lot of that had to do with my Catholic upbringing. A lot of the self-discipline and self-control is very Catholic, which I know the lefties and the wokies and the secularists will be like, no, that's sexually repressed. Yeah, sometimes it's good to be sexually repressed. It's okay to not fuck everything in sight just because you want to, just because you feel the impulse. And so that's points to religion over, some religions. I think some religions allow for that sort of thing, right? Or some interpretations of religion, I should say. But points to Catholicism over atheism in that respect alone. Yet here I am, right now, it's 10, 11, maybe even 12 years later, still fantasizing about what would have happened had it gone the other direction. And it's very distracting to me. It's oh man, I want sex. And while this is going on, I'm listening to, Ave Maria. Discipline. But even with that, there's no sex for me to have out here. I'm in a very isolated area. So with that, to meet a wife through a church would be optimal. But I don't have a lot of options for churches. There's the Mormon Church. I don't believe in their faith. I think Joseph Smith was a con artist. And what's really sad is I'm entertaining the notion that Judaism and Christianity are also kind of grifts and cons in a way. But Mormons meet in the morning at 9 a.m. And this is when none of the drug addicts are awake on Sunday, which are mostly black people because that's the area I live in. And Catholic Church, the SSPX that I was attending, that was built in 1893, they meet in the evenings, 5 p.m. And that's when it's all blacks driving in circles around the church during Mass, blasting loud rap music and smoking blunts. And the secondhand marijuana sets off my schizophrenia, and I communicate this to the church, to the head of the church and everybody there. And they just, oh well, we're not going to do anything to stop that. What do you want us to do? What can we do? It's against the law to prevent evil from taking root in the lands. Or, etc. You could pray about it. Oh, look, prayer didn't stop it from happening. Oh, well, I guess it's God's will. Better just let it happen. Don't take action. The other option is a Baptist church. And I don't know much about the Baptist faith. I know they do abstain from alcohol and hopefully marijuana as well. But any church that does that is going to get infiltrated by drug pushers who will try to subvert it to be like, no, marijuana's fine, da-da-da-da-da. And they'll do the brainwashing and the manipulation to get, the same thing with Muslims, etc. Drug dealers do not let ethical boundaries stand between them and profit. Any more than politicians do. But yeah, so I think I'm definitely needing a woman because I'm craving a woman really bad. Like, really bad. And, like, right now it's just for sex, but that's a temporary state. Eventually there's also the thought of love, companionship, family, right? Having kids, becoming a father and a husband, things like that. So, ideally I'd want to meet a good woman through a church, but even Christian and Catholic women are human and therefore fallible and capable of adultery, etc. So if the Catholics are right and the Christians are right, and this is God's will, God's plan doesn't really work out for you, but that's okay. You'll get it in heaven. Well, dude, this life counts. This reality is real. This really matters. If you protect the kids from being transgendered in this life, you've saved them in the next life, right? Like, what we do in this life matters to the next world, the next life, whatever you want to call it, that all these religious people agree on, and then try to use it to manipulate you with this reward and punishment system. Like, oh, if you don't give money to the church, which is me, then you're going to go to hell. We're God's chosen people. It says so in the book written by us. Like, it just gets really, really funny. But despite all that stuff, yeah, I'm still going to continue saying the rosary every night and reading the Bible. I read I think I'm at Psalm 62 now. I was kind of tired last night, but yeah. But none of this replaces a woman's touch. The feel of a woman's naked, sweating body against mine. Oh. But I know better. Those short-term versus long-term thinking. That short-term range of sex could lead to long-term destructive consequences. Got to be picky. You got to choose the right woman, which means if you have sex before marriage, then you're building a relationship based on sex. Those have never worked out for me because I don't know her. I don't know what music she likes. I don't know what she's capable of. I don't know what her personality is. I don't know if she has positive traits like loyalty and stuff. If you wait and hold out till marriage, then you know who you're moving in with, you know who you're going to be living together with for the rest of your life, etc. So the Catholic system of this and the technical traditional Judaism system of this makes a lot more sense from a secular perspective, right? Even with the removal of religion, this makes complete sense that you should get to know somebody before you sleep with them, let alone entering into a parenting relationship with them.